best running team in the league last year, the Bengals, against the best rushing defense, the Bears. Yet we had the feeling that White was going to attack that statistic and run the football.
Well, they're proud. They've got Ickey Woods. They've got Brooks, a big offensive line. They've run on everybody. They believe they'll run on the Bears. They might late, but not early in the game. The Bears are going to stop them. So Sam's going to have to throw the ball to score. Then hopefully late in the game, he'll be able to run, and that running game will make the difference.
And the Bengals will get a chance first as they have won the toss and will receive. Stanford Jennings, who returned to kick off for a touchdown in the Super Bowl, and rookie Eric Ball of UCLA are deep. Ball on the near side, number 42. And Kevin Butler will kick it off for Chicago on a perfect football day. A big refrigerator Perry right there next to Butler. And here we go. A short kick. Ball at the 4. And the rookie feeling his way up the middle to the 24-yard line. Lorenzo Lynch makes the tackle, and here comes the Bengals and Boomer Esiason. They'll line up this way, and a big offensive line. The All-Pro Munoz, Reimers, Jeton, Kozerski, and Blados. In the backfield, Esiason with those talented runners, Brooks outside and Woods the inside man. Tim McGee, Ira Hillary for Eddie Brown at wide receiver. Rodney Holman the tight end. And when they go into their 4 wideouts, Mike Martin and rookie Kendall Smith from Utah State will join the offense. Esiason with both wide receivers, McGee and Hillary to the left. And the toss outside to Brooks. He's got some yardage, fumbles the ball when he hits the ground, and they're indicating the ball dead back at the 29-yard line. The Bears defense, and still one of the best, maybe the top 5 in the league, with rookie Trace Armstrong at defensive end, McMichael, Hampton, Dent, the veterans inside, Ron Rivera, the great Mike Singletary in the middle, and Dante Jones, the outside backer. When they go into their Bear defense or nickel defenses, Roper, the rookie, Usher, Lemuel Stinson, and David Tate as the extra defensive backs. Second down and 4. Esiason has a man wide open, Brooks. And the little scat back gets more out to the 45-yard line, and a first down. Vesti Jackson on the corner made the tackle for Chicago.
Well, Brooks has been waiting for this, Dick. He's been steaming. People have said he's lost it. Dick has said he'd lost it. And of all the people on the team, this is the guy that works the hardest. He's really a new wave of athlete today. They work so hard in the offseason. They're super conditioned. He's going to perform well today.
Brooks, a very proud man out of Auburn, where he caught only 1 pass in 4 college seasons and has caught his 272nd just now in the NFL. Brooks gave a little look over to the Chicago sidelines to Ditka and the Bears. Said, how do you like that one?
Look for a sweep.
And there it is, a handoff to Brooks. He's got a blocker. 50, 45, 40, out of bounds at the Bear 31.
Boy, this shows planning. Sam had put this together. I'm sure he saw a lot of film and planned this opening series. And of course, that's the value in doing it. Brooks is in motion with the ball. He's going to get the sweep, and he's going to get all kind of movement, but he's got a super job by Blados pulling, a great job by Kozerski outside. So Brooks had great blocking, but really he got Chicago caught by surprise, and Rivera was knocked right off that line of scrimmage.
15 yards on the pass, now 25 yards on the sweep by Brooks, and the Bengals start impressively. They're at the 31. Ickey Woods. And the rookie a year ago out of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, picking his way behind that big forward wall that just shoves the defense and waits for Ickey to find some daylight. He saw a small opening to the 25, and that's a gain of nearly 6 yards.
Well, they spoke before the game. Holman and Blados knocking Armstrong and Rivera off the line of scrimmage. It's just what you saw there.
You saw Woods' preseason rushing marks. They were icky, in a word. He said, just watch me today. Stanford, Jennings, and Woods in the backfield. Play action, bowls his way inside the 20 for another Cincinnati first down. Right into the chest with the helmet of the tackler, Vesti Jackson.
Well, again, it was a reverse action play, tied in late in the flat, Bears pursuing. Of course, Ickey Woods hasn't really done it yet through preseason after that great year. So they faked to him that time, but at some point he's going to have to carry the ball, make the yards, see if the shuffle's still there. Thus far, he hasn't proven anything in preseason football.
Now this opening drive, a la your way at San Francisco, all scripted by Sam White, and successful it has been. And now the crowd trying to help the defense. That's Hillary in motion. Ickey Woods slamming to the 15, maybe more.
Well, he showed that power.
Came up from the corner, the rookie number 21 to make the tackle. Dave Duerson 22, and Singletary 50 on the stop.
Well, Duerson will be a big factor today. What a great guy that one is. He's bright, going to law school, but more importantly, he's an intense hitter. An intense hitter that makes the difference. He's going to be in there to stop Woods all day.
Duerson out of Notre Dame, 4 consecutive Pro Bowls for him. Second down and 6. And down goes Esiason as Ron Rivera, the linebacker, shot through.
Well, Rivera wasn't fooled that time. He wanted to run a bootleg right here, and he's going to come up the field. And what we're going to get is a movement by Boomer. He thinks he's got people fooled. You can see him all the way. Now the Bears have blitzed in this part of the field before. The Bengals didn't account for it. Rivera unblocked. Big play.
On 3rd and 18, Esiason incomplete to Brooks, and he was nailed by Mike Singletary.
Mike Singletary, great hitter, tremendous hitter, super football player, but one thing that's occurred, and you can see it, he's lost some of his movement. He's not as quick, he's not as fast as he once was, but you talk about hitting, he's going to take people apart. High over the head, he knows just where to take you to knock it so many times.
So the long drive with the opening kickoff stalls, and on the sack by Rivera, the Bengals now look at a field goal chance. James Gallery, their new kicker, he replaced Jim Breach, the all-time scorer in Cincinnati Bengals history, beat him out in training camp, and this will be a 45-yard attempt. Timeout called. Jerry Seaman is today's referee, and now he marks the ball again.
Now, Gallery has super leg. Now they talk about him 55-yard field goals in practice. This will be the test.
For 45. Partially blocked. And the Bears fans cheer the defense.
Well, that ball didn't take off. It didn't go up in the air. Bad hold, but everything seemed to be timed. It was just a low, flat kick. Low, flat kick.
For reaching deep, for going long, for digging in when things go wrong, for pushing hard in all you do, that extra yard, for coming through this much for you.
Beechwood aged for the taste so crisp and clean, so refreshing. It's the king of beers.
This much for you.
He's playing really right at the end of his career. At least that's how I feel about it.
And here's a man miraculously fractured leg. You see the left leg heavily bandaged. Tim Crumry, who comes back to start the opening game. Tom Zach handing off to Neil Anderson for short yardage, and Crumry is in on the tackle. And what a story. That tragic fracture in the first quarter. The man who led the Bengals, their spiritual leader and their top tackler 4 consecutive years, fractured the leg 4 places in the Super Bowl, and here he is with a 15-inch rod in that left leg, fighting off blockers, refusing to be denied a game he loves so much, and right in the midst of the battle.
Well, he's the prototype gladiator. That we could see this profile of man going back thousands of. He thrives on the game of football.
Sam White said he's the kind of guy that could play without a helmet. comes Zach's first pass. Intercepted by Ricky Dixon. He's at the 45-40. The 30. And Dixon to the Bear 25. Ricky Dixon, the top draft pick of the Bengals last year out of Oklahoma, used at a corner. He's moved to free safety and has his first interception of the year.
Well, Mike tried to throw a zone pass down the field. Didn't account for Dixon breaking right inside of it. He waited, then threw right into Dixon's coverage.
28-yard return by Ricky Dixon to the Bears 25, and this is where the Bengals like to play snake eyes. You notice they did not go into a huddle. Immediately the offense into the game lined up. They tried to sting the opposing team after a turnover. And going for 6 and couldn't find Tim McGee.
He has a play after any turnover, Dick. He wants a big play out of it. Usually it's a pass. Now we get a good look at a zone pass with the halfback straight up the field, with Anderson straight up the field, and Dixon timing it and breaking in front of it. Now that ball shouldn't be thrown really unless you can control the weak safety. You see Dixon see it and then just break right toward it.
So after the blocked field goal, Cincinnati comes back with the interception, and they're back in Bears territory as Ickey Woods really nailed by Vesti Jackson, the right cornerback, and that was not the Woods of last year that ran all out. He seemed to be gingerly approaching that line looking for a hole. No huddle.
Oh, they got him with 12 people.
The throw complete to Hillary, Ira Hillary, and he's down to the 10-yard line and a first down.
Well, two things. The quick huddle, actually it caught Chicago with 12 people on the field and it wasn't called. But again, they threw a corner pattern to a tight receiver, open. Now these are the kinds of tactics that made the Bengals successful, that made Sam a creative, successful coach. And if the Bears can control this, they'll most likely physically begin to dominate the game. But at this point, they're being out-strategized.
Because the Bears did get their defense on the field, Cincinnati can take as much of the 45 seconds as they want.
Singletary calling the defense, an automatic defense.
Quick toss to Brooks. He gets to the 8-yard line. Sean Gale finally got him down and out of bounds. There's Gale from Ohio State, one of the toughest hitting free safeties in the league.
Those two safeties, Gale and Duerson, are probably the best combination in football today. Super hitters.
Calling the play at the line of scrimmage. Second down. 8 from the 8-yard line.
The Bears normally blitz. It looks like Brumer's changing the play again.
4 seconds on the 45-second clock. Woods out of bounds at the 5, and Vesti Jackson is throwing his 186 pounds around with abandon in this first quarter.
Two super shots by Vesti. I didn't expect this. I knew those safeties were hit, but he is really playing. I think that's a big part of that Ditka, just that intensity all of these Bears have.
Here the Bengals again with that attack huddle saying, we'll play our 11 against your 11. No nickels, no substitutions. Rodney Holman, who just signed this week, the tight end, is in there. Brooks is lined up on a wing. This is Holman. Wide open is Brooks. Touchdown, Cincinnati. They work to the side of the field, covered by rookie Donnell Wolford, the top draft pick of the Bears. And Brooks culminates the 25-yard drive after the interception with the first score of the game.
Well, Brooks in motion, breaking up the field, then right outside to in the flat. He was in a sort of a double wing position, and basically they just walled off the Bear defenders. Out he went. But Boomer looked the other way. The Bear defenders weren't alert enough in that situation.
Extra point by Gallery, gets this one up, and and Cincinnati capitalizing on the first turnover. The interception by Dixon scores the first touchdown here in Chicago.
Well, Boomer that time.
Did you know?
So the Bengals take the early lead 7-0 with just over 5 minutes played. Cincinnati with an impressive drive with the opening kickoff, then this touchdown after the interception.
Well, we had motion, picking people off, then Brooks breaking into the flat. Now really Chicago was in a zone defense, but the play's designed to sort of pick off defenders. In this case, Chicago doesn't have anyone in the flat. Most likely I would have to think that would have been Jones.
Yeah, that old pick play, some accuse you of putting that into your 49er offense.
I learned that from Paul Brown.
The kickoff by Johnson is very short. Bobbled for a moment by Mark Green, the rookie. No, that's Dennis Gentry, who comes out to the 28-yard line. That too. Tua Tagovailoa makes the stop for Cincinnati. A rookie from California. Here's the Bears offensive line, and maybe one of the better lines in the league. The veterans Covert, Borch, All-Pro center Hilgenberg, Thayer, and Van Horn. Now the starting quarterback with McMahon in San Diego, Mike Tomczak, Muster of Stanford, Anderson a 1,000-yard runner, Morris and McKinnon the wide receivers, and James Thornton the tight end. It's Anderson. Tripped up as he crosses the 30. A pickup of about 3, maybe 4. The Bengal defense. And it's amazing that one of the men in there is number 69, Tim Crumry. Smaller ends, Scow and Buck. Phillips, Thomas, Fulcher, and Dixon. A young and solid defense with the linebackers White, Zander, Kelly, and the veteran Reggie Williams. They will all go out when they go to their nickel defense, and Skip McClendon will be the down lineman. Leo Barker the only linebacker, and Jackson and Wilcox the 5th and 6th defensive backs. Second down, it's Muster's first carry, and he's out to the 35-yard line. A man who checked in at 250 pounds at training camp, down just under 240, and Tim Crumry in on the play.
Well, Crumry must avoid fatigue. With that broken leg, we had Jesse Sapolo, we had Ricky Ellison, both of the 49ers, re-broke their legs, or in one case an arm, by becoming fatigued and playing too long. So as far as Crumry is concerned, they're going to have to spell him. I'm sure they plan on it, but I sure as heck hope they do for his sake.
Crumry comes out after that play. It's 3rd down and 3. And the Bengals offside. Free play for Tomczak. Down the middle, intercepted by Fulcher. He's at the 40, but this probably won't count as the Bengals appear to be offside, and Fulcher gets it out to midfield, and the fans are booing Tomczak.
Well, twice he's thrown right down the middle against his own defense. In practice, he wasn't doing even in preseason games. Now, maybe he's anxious. I expected him to do a little better than this starting off, but 2 passes down the middle against a free safety.
It's nullified as rookie Tua Tagovailoa. He's a 265-pounder with a quick burst off the ball, and just a bit too quick this time. Number 96.
You see him move far, far ahead of the count.
That nullifies the interception by the all-pro safety David Fulcher and gives the Bears a first down, and perhaps will bring the crowd back in on Chicago's side.
Well, Mike's got to get something done. Mike Tomczak now, he's got to complete a clean pass. Those are 2 shots down the field that shouldn't have occurred with his experience. And all this time he's had to prepare.
First down on the penalty at the Bears 40. They trail 7-0 midway through the first quarter. Tomczak down the middle again. Thornton is wide open, and the tight end finally steps out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Make it the 32. Lewis Billups finally got enough of him to push him away.
Well, Thornton's the strongest guy on their team. He's one of the best blocking tight ends in the league, but they got him this time. Zone defense, crossing the field, wide open. The Bengals didn't see him coming from the far side of the field. Excellent pass protection. Take a look at that. And of course, he's going to run like a tight end.
You can almost run on those arms as big as they are.
I know it. But the pass protection is what's scary there, because the Bengal defensive ends didn't even get close. No push.
169.
Anderson. Anderson to the 26-yard line. This fourth-year runner from the University of Florida. Mike Ditka will turn 50 next month. Part of the remarkable career of Ditka, the fact that last year in November suffered that heart attack, and 12 days later, testimony to the man that loves this game and refuses to give in to anything. He was back on the sideline.
There's one Mike Ditka. I'm finding that out the more time I spend with him. One demanding person. One guy that just dominates wherever he is, his presence, and his players have responded to him. He ridicules them at times. They still respond to him.
This is Muster diving inside the 25 and close to a first down. Tim Crumry was there to get the tackle. Crumry, 267 pounds. What an incredible effort by him. He said when he lay in the training room in Miami at Joe Robbie Stadium watching his team almost win the Super Bowl against San Francisco, he decided right then he was going to start today despite that leg broken. 2 times the tibia, 1 fracture in the fibula, and an ankle fracture, and he made good on his promise. Muster on 3rd and a yard and a half, and the entire center of the Bengal line to stop him, but it appears that Muster might have driven forward for the first down. They mark it at the 22.
Well, Hilgenberg did the job on Crumry that time. Crumry wants so badly to move laterally. Hilgenberg, the great old pro, gets his pads right up underneath him and now gets him moving, gets up underneath him. Crumry wanted to move laterally. He got caught getting knocked straight back off that line.
Hilgenberg, number 63, the Pro Bowl center of the Bears. So you ask him at practice if he'd take a little mercy on Crumry in light of the injury. First down, Chicago. We can't exactly use his entire language, but he, in so many football terms, said, "Are you kidding?"
He said he'll be in there. So I think he appreciates Crumry and what he went through, but they're playing football now. This is dead serious.
Hilgenberg played 2 years at Iowa when Crumry was the nose tackle at Wisconsin. So they're old enemies. So trailing 7-0, a first down Bears at the 22. Underneath again to the tight end Thornton, and he's close to the first down. Carl Sander, 91, first to make the hit.
Well, if the Bears want to throw, they can do it all day with this Bengal defense. No push by the defensive ends. None. Of course, they're running into Van Horn and Covert, 2 of the great tackles in the game. But Scow, 245, Buck, 255, no push. The Bengals are going to have to do something else to get near the passer.
And Thornton very close to the full 10 yards, misses by that much. So you're telling us that the Bengals are going to generate any pressure on Tom Zach, going to have to bring some backers or some defensive backs on some blitzes.
They'll have to jump into a 4-man line, nickel kind of thing, bring a backer. But the Bears will throw anytime they want with that kind of pass protection. Of course, they can run pretty well, too.
Now, this is almost a free down, 2nd and inches. Ron Morris to the right. Dennis McKinnon to the left. Muster and Anderson behind Tomczak.
219.
Anderson. First and goal at the 7-yard line. Neil Anderson
is really one of the new wave of conditioning among athletes. A number of athletes have taken on the Roger Craig of the 49ers approach, almost like these African runners. They work so long and hard on conditioning to develop stamina. Neil has lost 10 pounds. He feels super, and in watching him work, I think he's going to have a great year. His off-season conditioning, plus that tremendous dedication he's got.
Injured Cincinnati Bengal on the play. And while they attend, we're going to take this break. 5:24 left in the first quarter.
There was a guy named Goldilocks who was thirsting for refreshment. But this one, and this one. So then he moved to Diet Coke. And it was just right. The real cola taste you can drink more of because it's just 1 calorie.
Hey, somebody's been drinking our Diet Coke.
Yeah. And there he is.
Hey, it's it's the Three Bears. What's up?
Yeah.
Just for the taste of it. Diet Coke.
Now that's when you're going really well. Boomer Esiason from the underwear ad to the Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And apparently they had a great time, he said, with those three Chicago Bears. And
I think I took 47 takes, just the first one with Hampton. Every time he would change his line, he'd use emphasis. He became a professional actor in about 2 hours.
When are they going to show those boxer short ads of yours up there?
Well, I still wear the long johns with the trapdoor.
All right, the Bears first and goal, trailing 7-0. 5:15 remaining in the first quarter. Jason Buck was the injured Bengal, did not appear to be serious.
347! 347!
Anderson for that line as the Bengals push back 2-3 yards before Anderson even hits it. That'll bring up second and goal. Reggie Williams and David Fulcher, the tacklers.
That's a great combination. Thayer, a big guy that pushes people out. Van Horn. The Bengals don't have the size defensively. The pass has always been Crumwright coming down the line of scrimmage to make the play. But Crumwright's not going to play like he did, at least early in this season. He's not even going to be in there all the time.
Crumwright is lined up now over center Hilgenberg. Second and goal.
350! 350!
Anderson. No signal yet. No, he did not get in. Anderson right on the goal line took a big walk from Leon White, and Crumwright was there as well.
Well, he hits into it. That is tight. It's really tough to see. The Bengals slanted their line right to the play. If there was a play they were going to stop, it was going to have to be that one.
Crumwright hustling over to get a piece of that tackle and deny the touchdown. You'll get to meet this incredible young guy out of Wisconsin, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Crumwright. Gail Gardner has a most interesting piece at halftime today. Anderson doesn't get in. He tried to dive over the pile, but Leo Barker, number 53, met him in midair.
Caught him right in the middle of the draw. Right in the middle of it. Mike's trying to decide right now.
Well, you were in a similar situation in the Super Bowl, and you elected to go for the field goal.
I should have gone for the touchdown, to be honest with you. I regretted it the minute I made the decision. But they stopped him.
And the Bears are going to go for it.
That was Reggie Williams. All these years, all that effort. Barker and Williams.
Fourth and goal.
250! 250!
Muster. He did not make it. The Bengals celebrate.
Muster got into that hole too high, and that's his problem. A big guy as he is, he can't get down quite low enough. You see his body angle is too high right there. Everybody caught him right on his shoulder pads. That's something he's working to improve. But with that size, 6'3", 245, you've got to get underneath those pads.
Quite a goal line stand by Cincinnati. They stopped the Bears twice from inside the 1-yard line. First Anderson and then Muster to retain their 7-0 lead. We'll take a look at that last goal line tackle, but you can't trust Cincinnati. They're liable to run a play in the first second or 44 seconds once they come out in that attack huddle. And the crowd trying to disturb Esiason's call. Mickey Woods barely gets out of the end zone. Let's go back to the touchdown-saving goal line play.
Well, again, we had Brad Muster going into the line of scrimmage, but at 6'3", he's a big, big guy that gives you a lot of surface to hit. And consequently, Barker and Reggie Williams got underneath his pads.
51 White, 57 Williams, and Skip McClendon underneath to deny the Bear touchdown. Here it is from the end zone. Look at McClendon, 72, burrowing in, and then the linebackers making the stop.
Reggie Williams playing a big role, 14 years in the league.
Esiason has it knocked down. Ron Rivera, face bar to face bar with the thrower Esiason.
Batted down by Dan Hampton. Incomplete. Additional pressure to Rivera.
Rivera unblocked from the outside. Unblocked. But there was push otherwise. But that unblocked man, Boomer had to get the ball off quickly. He couldn't get it off quickly enough.
Looked like Dan Hampton might have got a hand on the pass. 3rd and 10. The ball still at the half-yard line.
They need at least 5 yards here to get room for their punter. Otherwise, he's going to punt with a short snap, and he's not going to get a good one off.
Draw play to Brooks. Just does get out of the end zone and gets a first down and more. A flag down as Brooks is tackled at the 23 by Vesti Jackson. 21 to match his number but it's against the Bengals for holding.
You talk about an individual effort. He would stop for a safety. It was over. They could have blown the whistle, and he comes out of there.
Mike Ditka during the week said, well, James Brooks, I know they want to keep him in there.
Holding. Number 85 offense, still 3rd down.
Tim McGee. We know they want to use that attack offense, keep our 11 men on, not allow our nickel package, but that means Brooks is the key guy. But it isn't the Brooks of 3 or 4 years ago, said Ditka, and James Brooks read those articles.
Well, he did, and he still has. He wants to play for 18 years. A friend of Charlie Joyner's, he thinks he can play at least 5 more. But of course, talk about a team eroding, but the Bears are a good party to that. If Brooks has, certainly the Bears have.
Watch on the right side of your picture the penalty against the Bengals. There it is.
Oh, right there.
By McGee.
McGee may well have tripped on that one.
But here comes Brooks again. He's in the clear. And Vesti Jackson, the last Bear, finally rides him out of bounds at the 34. And James Brooks is getting an early start on the 1989 highlight film.
Ditka is down on the sideline. He really got tagged. Take a look at the end of the play. Now, this is great running by Brooks. Refrigerator Williams couldn't move, couldn't make the play. The end of the play here is a little scary because Mike is really hit here. I think it's right at the end of the play, and he was down.
Mike Ditka, who the heart attack, he feels that all's fine now. His cardiovascular measurements are good, but he has a very painful hip and cannot really walk full-time in practice. Has to coach from a coaching cart. Esiason down the middle, complete to McGee, and McGee has a first down at the 40 of Chicago. Jackson again on the tackle.
Well, McGee broke in front of the weak safety. Sean Gale was deep. McGee underneath. Zone defense. He starts in, breaks across, leaves people go. There's the ball thrown inside. Vesti had to protect his zone, then go for the ball. Big hole, but again, the pass protection on that play gave the Bengals hope because he had all kind of clearance to throw the ball.
And Cincinnati fans worried about that left shoulder of Esiason had to be pleased with the way he zipped that one into McGee. Tight end Eric Caddis, and he has another first down, and the Bengals are moving the ball at will in this first quarter, and there are just seconds remaining. Cincinnati leading 7-0.
Well, this is what we spoke of. The short, crisp, timed pass patterns against the Bears are most often the best way to work on it. They have so many people around the line of scrimmage. The flats often are open, and if you can just get the ball up quickly enough, and what's impressed me so far is that Kozerski and Reimers are holding out those great Bear defensive tackles.
So a tough quarter for Mike Ditka to wipe away. He trails 7-0, and the Bengals are looking for more.
By the U.S. Army. In 1980,
it's 7-0 Cincinnati here. The Bengals took the opening kickoff, drove to a field goal that was blocked, then intercepted a pass, and off that interception scored a touchdown. Brooks a 4-yard catch from Esiason, and now starting after a goal line stand that stopped the Bears twice inside the Cincinnati 1, the Bengals have moved downfield to a first down at the Chicago 27. underneath, incomplete to Rodney Holman. Sean Gale there for Chicago, and Esiason getting pressure again from Rivera.
Well, he had time on that one. He just sort of short-armed that throw, tried to rush it.
Boomer said when he did that commercial, he was talking to you, Bill, about the fact that he, along with having a lot of fun, the Bears gave him some feelings about their attitude toward the Bengals.
Well, the Bears don't respect a lot of people when you come into Chicago. They're so used to winning. They've won, what was it, 34 out of 40 games you can see I've seen in recent years. But they don't respect people. They're so successful.
Ickey Woods and Steve McMichael was the first man there for Chicago, a veteran from Texas.
Well, Ickey's going to have a tough time cutting back into Hampton and McMichael, let alone Mike Singletary. This is the part of the game where the Bears are the strongest. I'm sure that Sam wants to establish that early, but the pass is going to do it for him.
Again, the attack huddle. Esiason calling the plays in code. Third down and 8. Misdirection. Esiason dumps it off. It'll be short of the first down to Eric Caddis, who was tackled at the 27-yard line by Mickey Pruitt.
The mechanics of getting all that done is mind-boggling. It baffles me. He called 2 different audibles at the line. He ran a man in counter motion. He faked a bootleg to the outside, then had the poise to hit his man in the flat. So Boomer is functioning today.
Really the 1990 computer quarterback. Fourth down and 1, and now the Bears have a chance to return the favor and stop Cincinnati as they go for it. Ickey Woods, second effort. Did his knee go down? Yes, they're marking it back at the 18, and the Bears will take over.
There's the knee. He was clearly down.
And they mark it at the 18. Chicago takes over. So both coaches throw away a chance at a field goal from short range, go for it on 4th and 1 or less, and both are stopped. Dan Hampton, man who has admitted to 4 knee operations on his left knee and 4 on his right, calls him working with a pair.
Yeah, he's got a lot of humor. There's a lot of humor involved in it. Here's Dan right here, and he's going to move toward the ball. And he's reaching. He might have had part of it. He went all the way over the top to get just enough of Ickey to get a knee down.
Boy, that is an all-pro play. The veteran Hampton threw 2 blockers and got enough of Woods to trip him up, and Woods had a big hole otherwise.
Well, Dan is at the end of a great career. 8 knee operations. He looks good. He feels good. But Dick, when you've had that many, you're bound to get some arthritis in those knees if you keep grinding away on them. And that's what he wants to do. He's so positive about playing football that he says sooner or later medical research will come along that'll relieve this problem. As far as I'm concerned, he's got to be careful how he practices, the amount of time he plays. Then he's got to protect himself. We see too many of these guys 2 or 3 years, 8 or 10 years after they finish playing, terrible arthritis in their knees. And that's what he's headed for, as great a player as he is.
Well, he said, I'm not worried about 20 years from now. I'm just worried about 20 days from now. He said, medical science will find the answer to the need. Look at the intensity. And the dean of the Bears, 32-year-old Dan Hampton. The delay was for instant replay. They confirmed what we saw, that Woods was down. And Tom Zach goes to work, but doesn't get anywhere. Jim Scow, as the pressure finally gets to Tom Zach, as his receivers well covered downfield.
Well, they were covered. I'm not sure they were all covered that well, but Mike held the ball far too long. Sooner or later, somebody's going to get close. We're going to get Scow pushing up the field, but really, Dan is taking too much time to throw this ball. He had something in mind, and so Mike's going to look up the field. Now he wants to come over here. No, not there. At least he grabs the ball, pulls it down, and sort of reduces the loss.
2nd and 15. Complete. Dennis Gentry on the far sidelines. And Lewis Billups makes the tackle shy of the first down by 2 yards.
Well, Lewis, one of the quickest defenders in football. Pretty good position all the way up the field. Just when he turns, now the ball's thrown and he has to recover. The key to that deep out is to get the defender turned, at least his hips partially turned, and then throw the ball. And that's the kind of thing we did to beat the Bears last year with Rice.
And Lewis Billups is a man that figured very heavily in your win in the Super Bowl. We'll get to that later. 3rd down and 2. Anderson. First down at the 38. As Mike Ditka throws a wrinkle at the Cincinnati defense, an 11-yard gain.
Anderson runs so smoothly. Now, if he isn't another Peyton, I don't know. He may not have as long a career, but right now he's running just like Peyton did.
Well, that's really a strong statement. You think that he has that kind of talent? He could be another Peyton?
Dick, I think he'll make 1,500 yards this year, and most likely he'll continue to, with the conditioning program he's in, his attitude, and the respect that the rest of the players have for him.
Here's Anderson again, hit in the backfield this time as slashing through was Carl Zander. You know, back in that Super Bowl, you were trailing 13-6 early in the 4th quarter on the 14 of Cincinnati, going for a tying touchdown. Montana throws, and number 24, Lewis Billups,
got underneath it.
Oh, my. Oh. That might have...
I don't want to see that again. Never.
And the next play, Billups and Cincinnati watch Rice score a touchdown to tie the game. And, of course, eventually San Francisco would win it.
Well, I'm sure he recalls it, and he'll be a better man for it.
You were?
Yes.
On 2nd down, into the flat to the big fullback Muster, and he's bounced out of bounds by Billups. Brad Muster, here's a Stanford man. You coached at Stanford. They're very proud of their academic tradition. He was an academic All-America. And so what does a man do in his spare time when he's not playing football?
Well, he follows professional wrestling. He's a professional wrestling, I guess you call it a groupie. But now, which group is he in?
NWA. His star is Ric Flair.
Ric Flair. And I remember Rick.
And the bad guy is Terry Funk.
Terry Funk. Well, there are a lot of Terry Funks on this Bear team.
3rd down and 4. Tough catch for Gentry. Could not bring it down. And Eric Thomas, 22, was on him anyway. So the Bears will have to give it up in a game that has featured 2 superb defensive stands. One by the Cincinnati Bengals, denying Chicago when they had 3rd and goal inside the 1, and 2 shots and a touchdown failed. It's 7-0, 10 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the first half, as Maury Buford, who was the Super Bowl punter, then released, has been elsewhere with the Giants last year, and now re-signed by Chicago. And that's Ira Hillary at the other end for Cincinnati.
That last pass, by the way, Mike Tomczak threw it too high. It's all up to the passer on those kind of throws.
Short. Hillary fumbles the ball, and the Bengals. Robert Jackson, number 37, alertly recovers. Jackson from Central Michigan did not play last year. Sat out waiting for a better offer. It never came, so he's here in 1989.
Ladies and gentlemen,
37-yard punt. And that one nearly disaster for Cincinnati.
Lucky.
We recognize how important business. We recognize that. And if for some reason there's
John Sanders, he was playing with the Yankees earlier this week, runs a score back. And Indianapolis has tied San Francisco at 10. From the 20, James Brooks met in the backfield. Richard Dent holding his ground and dropping Brooks for a loss of 3.
Well, they tried the same thing they did very early in the game. Brooks in motion, not getting the secondary support they thought they'd have, but Dent's just too much for us. Really tough to block in.
Tough to hear Esiason call out the plays because the Bear fans, they're wise in their ways. They know about the attack huddle, and they've been practicing to make it tough on Boomer this week. Play action to the tight end Caddis, and he's out to the 25-yard line, and the flag goes down late at the tackle spot. Might be a face mask.
Well, the Bears had talked all week about making just enough conversation or yelling or whatever you want to call it, distraction for Boomer, so we couldn't get clean calls at the line.
Gary Seaman.
Face mask, 5-yard penalty, number 24 defense, first down.
Vesty Jackson, who seemingly has been in on almost every play, guilty of the minor foul, 5-yard penalty. And that'll give Cincinnati a first down out at the 31-yard line.
Looked like the helmet.
9:20 remaining in this first half. The AFC defending champion Cincinnati lead the Chicago Bears 7-0. Esiason normally doesn't get caught with delay of game.
Delay of game, offense, still first down.
I think it's the Bears jamming his signals. Well, the Bears are calling their defensive signals while he's calling his offensive signals. He has to repeat them. He has to turn to everybody so they can hear it. It took too much time.
And Mike Ditka didn't use the word jam the signals, but in essence, his defensive players are going to shout their calls. Wow. Woods meets Singletary.
Well, that's where Singletary is at his best. Blitzing. He's like a torpedo coming straight up the field, unblocked all the way through, not accounted for. All the way through it, and he happens to catch a draw. But he'd have sacked Boomer if he'd have been throwing. Nobody touched it.
Second down and 20. McGee and Hillary are wide left. That's Brooks in motion to the same side. Incomplete. Sean Gale broke up the play, and number 52, Mickey Pruitt, was the man pressuring Esiason.
Well, he had super push up the middle. The Bears got pushed up the middle, and Boomer had to throw over the top of the pass rush. He's picked up at the jam back into it. Now Ickey has to get Mike Singletary under those pads. Mike's running 15 miles an hour when he hits it.
Third down and 20. And unable to get back on his feet to advance farther is the rookie Kendall Smith, a 7th-round draft pick from Utah State. And the Bears defense has given the offense a chance, and you know they love the defense in Chicago.
Cincinnati has fourth.
Bengals leading 7-0 at the midpoint of the second quarter. And in to punt is Lee Johnson. A team, Cincinnati, with a starting quarterback that's a southpaw and a kicker that's left-footed. That's a Quinella that's quite rare in this game.
It really is, Dick. That's really, where'd you pick that one up?
A left-handed friend of mine named Walsh. Good kick. Mark Green, the rookie at the 28. Oh, block in the back. No flag down. There it goes now. A clear foul against the Bears. And finally, Barney Bussey makes the tackle. 46-yard kick, 18-yard return, but some of that's going to be taken back on the penalty.
It was a clean.
46 yards. There's a flag at the play.
Now in pretty good shape, pretty good shape. Here it is, all the way. It was above the waist, but still behind the back. It's just impossible to get away with anything on the kicking game. They've got the officials assigned to individual players. Rarely does anything get past them.
You say that like a coach who feels that maybe they're too free in throwing the
Illegal
flag.
block during the return. Number 25 receiving team. First down.
It's really frustrating. It really is. You recall in the Super Bowl, it cost us our last drive.
We'll be right back.
This way, Mr. Starr.
The Goodyear Blimp Enterprise. At the controls, Captain Drew Marshall, resident of Pompano Beach, Florida. That's where the Blimp Enterprise makes its home base. Scores right after this play as we're in the second quarter. The Bears move prematurely. That'll cost them 5, and it'll give us a chance to go through the other early scores on week 1 of this NFL year. Thornton, the tight end, the guilty party. New Orleans holding on to the 7-0 lead. Rams 10, Atlanta 7. Sanders punt return, the only score for the Falcons. Tampa Bay's taken the lead 14-7 against the Packers. Phoenix has tied the Lions at Pontiac, and the Niners and the Colts are tied at 10. So all the action closely contested.
Thornton just moves, totally moves all by himself. He must not have heard that snap count coming out of the huddle.
Zach. Thomas Sanders in at running back, and he gets out to the 25-yard line. That'll bring up second down and 11.
Well, there's Sam, and they're putting things together. Both these teams, Dick, haven't really demonstrated they're ready for the regular season. They're still finding themselves out here. They both had average to mediocre preseasons, and they're both showing signs of the greatness that they're expecting, but there isn't that continuity that I'm sure they want. This score, there should be 2 scores at least on both sides.
It's 7-0 Cincinnati, and that came after an interception when the Bengals started at the Bears 25. Zach.
Screen. Covered.
Throws it away. Thomas Sanders was the screen man, but the Bengals had infiltrated the blocking.
Well, they read that all the way. Zach handled it well. He threw it away. But the Bengals felt those linemen coming out as they pass rush and just turn and walk right down the line with them.
Are there many good counters to that? If a team really reads the screen so well that you can set them up and play something off their quickness to get out in the screen?
Well, you do it. If you'll recall the Super Bowl when Randy Moss was called for being downfield, that's what we were doing. Faking a screen and then throwing the ball to another receiver.
Illegal contact in the secondary. The intended receiver was McKinnon over the middle. Now their Bengals are pointing that it's against Chicago.
And here comes Chicago off the field. Well, Tomczak had an unblocked man. I think it was a line stunt up the middle, but he had a clean man coming.
Number 29 offense. Penalty decline. 4th down.
He had to throw the ball over people's heads. So here it comes up the field. You got an end. This is the defensive end on the right, coming straight up the field. And of course he was unblocked, so Mike had to take his eye off him. That was Jason Buck.
Ira Hillary, who muffed the last punt, is back at the Bengal 38, and here's Buford's kick. Beautiful kick. And Hillary wanted no part of it. And the Bears will down it at the Cincinnati 30-yard line. So at 5 minutes and 49 seconds remaining in this opening half, Cincinnati with the ball and the lead.
When people find Oldsmobile has just doubled the cash back on a new 1989 Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra, they
to the second half of our NBC doubleheader. What a lineup. Seattle, Philadelphia, Houston and Minnesota, Buffalo, Miami, the Patriots and the Jets. Look at that. Merlin Olsen and Charlie Jones, San Diego and the Raiders, Cleveland and Pittsburgh. So stay with us here on NBC. Ickey Woods gets the call on first down and picks up about 3. Richard Dent and others in on the tackle, and Bengals quickly into that no huddle.
If Ickey's going to make yards, it'll be in the third and fourth quarter. Hopefully, for the Bengals, when the Bear aging defensive line tires a little bit. But right now, his cutback, he's going into 2 great players, Hampton and McMichael, and Dent's on that backside of it.
And Refrigerator Perry is in there for the first time as he spells one of those veteran tackles. That's part of Ditka's plan. They pick up the blitz. Esiason going long for McGee. Off his chest, incomplete. Vesti Jackson on the coverage, and Gale was there as well, but it appeared that McGee had a good shot at catching the ball.
He got bounced a little bit about halfway down the field, lost some stride, then he couldn't really make a play for it. Right in this area, he's just going to get bounced a little bit right there.
Jackson getting his hand in there and knocking it away.
Now, Vesti Jackson is one heck of a player. I didn't realize it until I watched him today. He's a big hitter. He's a smart player. He's right on top of everything.
Had 8 interceptions last year to lead the Bears. 3rd and 7. Is he in bounds? Yes! A leaning tower catch by Mike Martin. And a first down with a 14-yard gain.
Boomer comes out, looking, finds somebody, just relax those feet, bring them together. Easy catch. Now, believe it or not, that is practiced.
Here's Refrigerator Perry.
Perry is...
Bruce Reamer, 75.
Oh, he's still going. Oh, Reamer got a little mad at that. He didn't want all that weight pushing against him.
Perry now weighing 340, we understand.
That was yesterday.
Ickey Woods, and Perry gets him from behind along with Steve McMichael. Short yardage.
Well, the one thing Perry can still do, although he's 40 pounds heavier than they ever thought he would be when they drafted him, he can still go down that line of scrimmage and make a play. He takes everything high, but you'll see him work right down the line of scrimmage to make the play. Up the field, down the line, working laterally, reaches out with that arm. Now that arm tackle to the helmet he's famous for, but often he can't get low enough to tackle a guy any other way. And of course he broke his arm last year doing it.
James Brooks. And into the backfield comes Dave Dorson, the safety. Dorson, along with being a high-quality athlete, is in the offseason working in the Chicago Public Schools, a program he calls Impact, which helps high school students from one end, the leaders to gang leaders, he says, to find life after high school. And how appropriate he calls it Impact. Here's an Impact man.
Impact, what an example he sets of how few people we have doing those things and how effective it can be.
Esiason off the hands, wide open was Hillary. That would have been a first down at the Bears' 38-yard line.
Well, you have to make those plays. Everybody knows it. Hillary, obviously. You don't get that many chances. Just that one completion can win or lose a game. I'll say one thing for Boomer. Boomer is playing beautifully. This right there, the ball comes off his shoulder pad. He doesn't reach for the ball, doesn't try to get it early.
Of course, the Bengals playing without their star receiver, Eddie Brown, who has not signed a contract yet. Johnson's kick to Green at the 12. Ed Brady can't get him, and here goes Green. Breaking tackles to the 37. Barney Bussey finally made the stop, and the Notre Dame rookie pays his first dividend.
Well, he's been thinking about this. We watched him in preseason games. This is an exciting football player, super determined, but he's been waiting to have a chance to handle a ball in an NFL game. Take a look at this.
One tackle missed there.
But look at this. Get those knees, work those legs. Do it again. He was getting every inch out of that. He's going to have an impact on this team.
25 yards for Green on a 40-yard punt. So the Bears trailing 7-0. Just a bit more than 3 minutes to go in the half. Have the ball at their own 37. Anderson to the 40. Let's check the other scores around the NFL. Of course, the tails at halftime with Bob Costas and the gang. New Orleans opens up a 2-touchdown lead against the Cowboys. Rams by a field goal at Atlanta. Tampa Bay now 27 versus Green Bay. Phoenix and Detroit. The 49ers and Colts tie.
49ers are going to have a tough time with the Colts. We knew that going in. Colts are a much improved team.
The only unbeaten team in the preseason this year, Indianapolis. 2nd and 7. Tomczak looking long for Ron Morris. He's open. Lewis Billups coasting along and suddenly thought the ball was thrown, and it wasn't, and Morris kept going and almost a touchdown.
It could have been the ball game with that 7-0 lead. Watch, he'll get a little confused. Now he's going to look back thinking the ball's in the air, and it is, but it's over his head.
And Mike Tomczak thought he had 6. That close from a tie.
I think at 14 zip, it would have been tough on the Bengals from that point on.
They're shooting for the tie at halftime. 3rd down and 7. Tomczak, and broken up nicely by Eric Thomas. The Bears bench arguing that Thomas, with the free hand, the right hand, was pushing off and made the deflection with a left hand. Let's take a look at it.
Well, he did all he could legal at the start of that. Waits, just reaching over the top. No, that's clean. Going for the ball, plus he made contact with the ball first.
Bengals feel he's an all-pro for many years. Eric Thomas, who led the team with 7 interceptions last season. And Buford to kick with 2:32 left in the half. Ira Hillary, another chance. Uh-oh, Bengals got back. High snap, and Buford's going to run it. He's got room. And he's tackled at the 46, and he didn't make it. It looked as if he could run for 40 yards, but one man, Robert Jackson, came out of nowhere to save the Bengals and give them the ball. They're 1 yard shy of a first down.
Did that look like a design play? I couldn't tell for sure. It looked like he had time to punt the ball. High snap. Punt it, punt it, punt it. Oh, unblocked man.
He saw Eric Ball, 42, coming free. Looked as if he was going to make it.
That's a great job by Jackson picking that thing up.
Ron Rivera could not make the block, and the Bengals take over on downs at the Bear 46. And would be fun to hear Ditka at halftime, wouldn't it? Could you have played for him?
He'd have scared me to death. I'd have been cowering in the showers. Big push.
Dan Hampton.
Dan's going to come straight up the field, and he's going to make his move. Now we're going to get a line stunt up inside with a blitz from the outside. Dent coming from the outside in, and they drop their protection on Hampton. And of course, with that size and range, he can cover ground so quick.
Hampton, who had 9.5 sacks last year to accumulate that 76 total. Handsome big guy from Arkansas, said very kindly, we're congenial monsters. We say thanks and use napkins and stuff.
I think they should have signs that help us. Have signs that like, slow down. Cop hiding behind Bill.
Soldier Field, Cincinnati leads. As an old baseball coach, Bill, it used to be fun to try to pick off the signals from the other team. And in football, you've been helping me in our film sessions to try to read the signs. Say, test me out now. I've been watching Sam White. Give me one and see if I can get it.
Well, you know, Sam uses these things for anything. Right. How about this?
That'd be 2 tight ends and a slam block and a fly pattern.
Tua Tagovailoa.
His rookie defensive end.
It's the only way you can remember the name.
Wait a minute, what's this?
Tag.
No, that's Natu Tuataglio.
Oh, Natu.
That's
Oh, that's the first name. Oh, fine. I never could do this.
That's right. We never saw you doing a lot of singles.
No, I was afraid
you never got
to. I
into
couldn't
that.
remember the singles.
All right, 2 minutes to go. The Bengals lead 7-0 on a 4-yard pass play. Esiason to James Brooks. And out of bounds goes Tim McGee with a first down at the Bear 45. Bestie Jackson playing that corner rather loosely.
Well, Boomer's at his best here. This is a Times Square out against the zone defense. They practice this by the hour. This goes all the way back to when Sam played quarterback. This is the one play really he couldn't complete.
Excuse me, that was shy of the first down. It's 3rd and 9 now at the 46. Hampton had the sack before the 2-minute timeout. To the outside, McGee, and couldn't haul it in. A little wide on the throw, but he was open again.
Now the Bears are going to have a chance to even this thing up.
And they have all 3 timeouts with 1:51 to go in the half.
Well, really what they're looking to look for is a field goal. And they've got all the weapons. Anderson can still run the ball. There's still enough time for that.
You go for a block here? Do you try to block the punt by Johnson?
Well, if they've seen something.
Mark Green is at the other end for Chicago.
Return.
Fair catch, but he's just going to let it bounce, and it kicks into the end zone. He had it right on the sidelines, and it took a bounce inbounds to the chagrin of the head coach of the Bengals. He thought he had it out about the 2-yard line. Looked as if it was going to go out that way, but that's what makes it an interesting game when you drop that funny pumpkin.
I'll tell you what an amateur I am. I thought he'd punted to the safety man.
At halftime, Bob and OJ with all the scores and highlights, and Tim Crumry's return. Also, we'll get the man who's sitting in a very expensive seat today, Eddie Brown. If he had signed what we heard was offered, he's sitting at about a $50,000 seat today, 1/16 of his salary, maybe more. He wants to play. Maybe they'll get together soon. We'll find out. Wide receivers, they give it to Anderson.
Here it comes.
He couldn't go all the way. And just coming over is Solomon Wilcox to bump him out of bounds at the 43-yard line.
Well, they
what
went
a play.
right to him. This is the basic sweep out of the shotgun formation.
23.
Bengals looking for the pass. They're crossed up.
Great job by Bortz. Again, the big problem for the Bengals, they don't have strength at the defensive ends. They're smaller guys. So when they come up the field, they can be cut down. By the way, I just figured out the score, Dick.
What do you got?
I didn't even know where the scoreboard was. I thought the Bears were ahead. It was the Bengals.
7-0 Cincinnati. The Bengals with 1:37 left in the half. Draw. Anderson again. Jason Buck chasing the play. Number 99 got him around the ankles. Clock is running. The Bears not calling a timeout yet. No huddle this time by Chicago with 1:19 to go in the half. Tomczak to Gentry. And Gentry brought down by Leo Barker at the Bengal 45. And Chicago quickly is in Cincinnati territory, and they use one of their 3 timeouts.
Well, they ran Anderson. The Bengals don't have the kind of defensive line in there to deal with a run. They're just not big enough.
Let's check the other scores quickly.
New Orleans 14.
Tuataglio, 96 there. He's in as a pass rusher, the rookie from California. New Orleans now up by 3 touchdowns, trying to spoil, and apparently are, the debut of Jimmy Johnson in Dallas. Atlanta regains the lead against the Rams at home. And Tampa Bay leads Green Bay 20-7. That's at the half. These 2 games now at the half. Phoenix in a battle of field goals now leads at Detroit. That run and shoot is just walking and kicking one field goal. San Francisco leads 13-10 at Indianapolis.
Well, that run and shoot is still unable to run and shoot, I guess.
Rodney Peete, young quarterback from Southern California, won't be playing for a while apparently. The Bears at the Cincinnati 45. 1:09 left in the half. First down. They trail 7-0. Tomczak pumping. And brought down from behind by Skip McClendon, who is 6'7" and needed all of that stretch to get on the heels of Tomczak. Clock is running.
Skip is really a great athlete. This guy was a linebacker there in Arizona State.
Second down and 7. And off to Gentry. Good blocking, and David Fulcher gets him down in play, so that'll force the Bears to use a timeout, or will they? The Bears have 2 remaining, but Ditka doesn't call one here. Clock is down to 25.
Oh, gee. I think the timeout was in order there. They just wasted it down. They had 2 timeouts. And really what you want to do in this kind of a situation is assure the field goal. If you can just get 10 yards, assure the field goal, then go for the end zone a couple of times, then kick the field goal. So maybe these 2 timeouts will help them. But the key here is to get just enough room for a long field goal, then take a shot for the end zone.
Relationship between Ditka and his quarterbacks. McMahon, we heard from on our NFL Live show. And, of course, Tomczak, he said he was close to quitting last year.
He couldn't take the ridicule, if you want to call it that. But Ditka, on occasion, doesn't remember what he does during the game from that standpoint.
Tomczak wide open as Ron Morris out of bounds at the 11, making the 13-yard line. Was he open? Sam White is yelling at someone.
That was Fulcher. Fulcher kept dropping and should have broken to the outside into the flat. And Billups was upset. Billups was playing a deep zone. You see Billups way back. Fulcher doesn't get out there where he belongs.
That stops the clock with 17 seconds left in the half. Now the Bears can think 7 instead of a field goal. Tomczak shotgun. Whoa. Eric Thomas was about to make a move, and Tomczak, a wise throw, fired it away from Gentry. Had he thrown that to his receiver, Thomas was looking toward a long run with the ball.
Right at this point, they could get to the goal line with a trap play. The Bengal defenders are just a little tired. They're not getting off that line of scrimmage. A quick trap to Anderson would take them right to the goal line.
14 seconds left in the half. The Bears trying to tie it up. Quarterback draw. It's a touchdown.
Run was going to do it. A trap, I thought, but a quarterback draw even better.
Here's a try for point, and Butler ties it up at 7. Looked like 57. Tom Thayer really throws a block on that play, Coach.
Well, we get a good block, but you've got a big void in the defense here. So by turning people out, Tomczak could run all the way in. You could see the Bengals were a little bit tired. Tear blocks down, Van Horn outside, all the way up the field. No one there.
Boy, and Mark Bortz really buried his man as well, to the delight of Mike Ditka, who apparently will go to halftime tied at 7. Well, you were talking about a draw up the middle. You weren't thinking quarterback draw, or were you?
I thought Anderson trapping up the middle. The quarterback draw accomplished the same thing. Get another look at it. You see that huge gaping hole, Bengals pass rushing, and then turning and running into zones in pass defense. They lost total track of Tomczak.
Well, Mike Tomczak, you don't see many quarterbacks rub it in like that. to the defense.
Well, Tom Zach's weathered a lot of storms since being with the Bears.
He's a fighter. He's a free agent. Not many men that play that position, quarterback. Look at Fulcher coming over to say, we'll be talking to you later about that. That's enough to knock the picture off.
I don't think he was congratulating him. But Tom Zach's been through so much, and all this toughening and seasoning. I personally think he's as good a quarterback as you'll find in that level of real technician. He may not be a superstar, but he can run the team, as Mike Ditka says. He can run the team. He's not going to carry it. He'll throw on occasion, but the running game and defense will be the difference for the Bears. Well, Tom Zach may be even more than that.
He can execute the game plan if he can. The real test will come in a game where the Bears are trailing in the second half. Can he win a game for them?
Yeah, can we come from behind, throw 30 or 40 passes, and win a game? If they happen to have, I guess, bad luck or somebody's doing him in pretty good, can he bring a team from behind?
All right, with 10 seconds to go in the half, and it's tied at 7. Butler to kick it off. Eric Ball and Stanford Jennings deep for Cincinnati.
Don't fumble.
To the 26-yard line, and that's exactly how he played it, very carefully, and apparently that will end. Well, they have to play one down as the clock stops on change of possession.
Cincinnati and first and 10.
Halftime show. We hope you'll stay with us. Oh, good to get it underway, and it promises, as always, to be another exciting NFL year, and we hope you'll make it a regular pattern to join us on NBC and stay with us. Second half, great games coming up as Boomer Esiason takes the final seconds on the knee, the end of the first half.
Defense. Everybody push deep.
From the 39.
Now he's in motion to get inside, then up the field. Now he breaks across, got a big jump on Billups. The ball is just overthrown. Again, the Bears are going to have to make that work. The design was good, the call was good, execution, no catch, and average throw.
6 for 15 for Tom Zach. 2nd and 15.
No pass rush.
Over the middle again, deflected and intercepted, and Dixon has another. He's out to the 34-yard line. Ricky Dixon, who led the Bengals with 3 interceptions in the preseason, has 2 in the season opener today.
Well, Dixon's sitting back there watching that ball.
By Neil Anderson.
And he just plays the ball from there when it's thrown.
Interception return.
See him sitting right in the middle. Now he comes forward. It looked as though it was tipped earlier.
And the Bengals come right out. The call is snake eyes. They try to get a playoff immediately, but officials make sure both sides are set. Usually Sam White's calls a play designed for big yardage in this situation.
Yeah, he usually tries something here.
Well, it's James Brooks, and that didn't get anything at all except Ron Rivera's bear hug.
They ran right into the teeth of that 46 defense. Yeah, Ditka had indicated Brooks had maybe lost his fastball, so to speak. That he wasn't quite the player he was.
Well, he proved him wrong in the first half.
Sure, and he'll come back. He'll make a play before it's over. But without Eddie Brown, Brooks is what they have for speed. He's a big playman. Boomer isn't doing anything other than trying to work the ball to Brooks.
Cincinnati lost 3 yards rushing the entire second period, and they lose a yard their first try in the third. Esiason away from Dent and then throws through the hands of Ira Hillary. He was well covered. Rookie Donnell Wolford.
Well, we talked at halftime, Dick. We knew that part of the Bengal offense, getting outside with the ball, faking the other way, counter bootleg, had worked the first half. The Bears have totally adjusted. They're containing from the outside, and they're jumping on those crossing receivers. I don't think that part of their game, as far as the Bengals is concerned, is going to have an impact the rest of this contest.
4 wide receivers, shotgun Esiason on on 3rd and 11.
Big push.
Boomer tries to run for it and gets it. He's out to the 45-yard line, and he challenged Mike Singletary. Singletary came up to meet him, is going to try to drop him shy of the yardsticks, but Boomer had enough in the gun to lean forward for the first down.
Well, the rush came well up the field. They sensed they got something. One hole in the rush lanes. One hole in the rush lane, and that gave Boomer his instinctive chance to get up inside there.
And a first down on the scramble at the 45-yard line for Esiason. Does your heart as a coach go in your throat every time that quarterback tucks it away?
Well, he's got to make some plays like that. Montana made them. The great quarterbacks will make a given run in a given game to win the ball game, or at least sustain a drive.
To the sidelines, and it's James Brooks bumped out of bounds at the 48 of Chicago. Other scores: New Orleans big. Rams now have taken a 10-point lead at Atlanta. Green Bay closes the gap to 6 against Tampa Bay. Phoenix by a field goal, and San Francisco adds to their halftime lead with an early touchdown in the 3rd quarter. The 49ers by 10 at Indianapolis. Here it's 7-all with 10 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. First possession in the 2nd half for Esiason and the Bengals, and this is 2nd down and 2. Ickey. He just doesn't seem to me to be running very hard.
Well, he sees he has nowhere to go. He's trying to find something as he's running. He slows down to be ready to pick that hole and break between people. There's nowhere to go. But at least did he get his first down there?
Well, he's close to it.
They got the push, yeah. They got the push up front, so he was able to fall in for it. But I think really, so far, Ickey's a good back to fake to and then throw the ball to someone else with.
Woods, who ran for 1,066 yards and the best average of any back in the NFL with more than 50 carries. 5.3 last year, but about 2 today. Going deep and overshooting Tim McGee. A flag is down at the line of scrimmage.
Well, he came after Boomer that time. He saw it coming all the way. He handled himself well in the pocket. Nowhere to throw the ball.
And it took a hold against the defense. So the Bears guilty of holding.
When the Bears want to, they can really push up the field.
21 defense. First down.
The rookie cornerback, number 21, Donnell Wolford, who was picked as the 11th player in the draft out of Clemson. Ditka says he's the best cover man I've had since I've coached here in my 8 years.
Well, he's a good cover man, but we saw in the earlier preseason games, he sort of settles around 15 yards, and people have been getting behind him. I'm sure before the game's over, they're going to go over the top on him if they get the protection.
Eric Ball and Stanford Jennings have replaced Woods and Brooks in the backfield. And there's the throw to the tight end Holman, who is bumped out of bounds by Sean Gale at the Bear 32. A dozen more for the Bengals. That'll make that 8 yards for Cincinnati.
Well, the Bengals were after man-to-man coverage, and they got it that time, running their tight end into the flat on an out pattern straight up the field. Good pickup all the way. Good pickup with people really coming up the field.
Dave Dorison was nose-to-nose with Esiason. Holman, playing with only a few days' practice after a long holdout, has his first catch. Ickey Woods ran a little tougher there and had a little more to run to, didn't he? It's a first down at the Bears 27.
I'm sure they've told him. I'm sure they've told him, Dick, don't look for somewhere to run. Just get in behind your blockers and get all you can. Keep those legs moving. Get those extra 2 and 3 yards, because really he doesn't have any running lanes to cut back to.
But Sam Weitz did tell us that if Ickey doesn't appear to want to run too hard, he won't hesitate to put the rookie Eric Ball in that spot. Bears fans trying to create some noise in this no huddle offense. blitz. Brooks sweeping wide. And those quick feet of Brooks slashing and skittering along the sidelines, making tacklers miss, and he's close to another first down. A reminder to our viewers, we will be selecting the Budweiser most valuable player in today's game. We'll announce that near the conclusion.
Well, they had a blitz right up the middle that took pursuit people out of the play. It left Brooks all by himself on the outside. Excellent running instincts to get the extra 3 or 4 yards out of that thing.
77 yards for Brooks. Oh, how he'd like to get 100 against Ditka after the barbs back and forth in the newspaper. Second and less than a yard. Woods again. And he's inside the 15 and another first down. Well, this has been a determined drive by the Bengals after the interception by Dixon back at the Bengal 33.
Hampton is reminding people what is happening, because right now the Bengals are beginning to get some push, and we talked about running late in the game. We might see the beginning of that kind of thing, because they are getting some push against that defensive front.
You're saying because Hampton and McMichael and Dent are going to tire in the second half?
They'll tire some. They've played a lot of football. That play pass will come out of that later, by the way.
James Brooks has a blocker. And Reimers shields the wall, and Brooks is finally out of bounds at the 6-yard line as Pruitt runs him out. 8 more yards. Well, the heart of the defense for the Chicago Bears. Dan Hampton and Steve McMichael, the 2 tackles, and Singletary, the middle linebacker behind him. That's 30 years of the NFL packed right in the middle, and that's sometimes the mileage does take its toll.
It sure does. 8 operations, obviously not all serious operations, but the cartilage and the wear and tear, 8 operations. A great campaigner, but a guy that's going to be suffering as years go by now, unless he deals with it.
On 2nd and 2, Eric Ball, the rookie from UCLA, picked in the 2nd round by the Bengals, inside the 5, and that'll be close to a first down. Trace Armstrong, #1 draft pick for Chicago. In fact, they had Wolford and Armstrong, picked them back-to-back, 11th and 12th, made the tackle.
Dick, not to interrupt, they put Ball in to cut back on that play, and Icky came right back in the game. So they wanted Icky to cut back. He wasn't doing it. Put Ball in, he got it done. I'm sure they reminded Icky on the sideline.
3rd down and 1. Woods, touchdown. He just kind of walked in casually to Icky Woods, thinking that there was no contest. Boy, that's a kind of play. If he suddenly is hit at the 1-yard line or should fumble, oh my.
Right. The blocking did it. Icky didn't.
Oh,
For
Icky
him to
Woods.
slow down and walk like that, Dick, anything can go wrong. You just don't play games. It's too serious.
Maybe he was saving himself for the shuffle. He kind of walks in here and then finally picks up the tempo to score to make it 13-7. And now he remembers, hey, well, it's tough to play open in Chicago with your act. I mean, here's a try for point. James Gallery makes it 14-7. That was a drive kept alive, remember, on a 3rd down scramble of 12 yards by Boomer Esiason, and Woods gets the score.
If you like
a beautiful day in Chicago, and how true it is on this Sunday in September. Blue skies, temperature about 70 degrees, and a nice breeze off the lake. Icky Woods has shuffled for the first time a 4-yard
run, Dick.
Was that really a run? What do we call that? A lope?
I think Boomer should have done the shuffle that time. He made that big run on 3rd down.
The kickoff by Lee Johnson, very high, down to Gentry. Got a crack. Johnson, the kicker, to beat, and he's able to get enough on him to knock him out of bounds at the 31-yard line.
had some real problems with this. Every time it looks as though the Bears may go all the way. Again, they've got it. People are ducking their head in the coverage. Now we're up the field, breaking to the outside, and Gentry has got a foot race with a kicker.
And Lee Johnson.
Lee Johnson showed good speed, kept his poise, took the right angle, saved a touchdown.
63-yard kickoff return, and the Bears come right back after relinquishing the tie. Trail 14-7, misdirection, Anderson.
Oh, boy. They just caved in that side of the line. You're going to see a lot of that play.
Neil Anderson over 120 yards rushing, gets 14 on that carry. I liked what he said about going to the Pro Bowl last year, his first time in the Pro Bowl. He said, I had a big year, 1,000 yards, and then I saw how the other All-Pros, how hard they work, and that made me realize I can be even better by improving my conditioning off-season.
I think he was talking about Roger Craig. A new wave of conditioning among these great athletes is really making a difference.
Again, up the middle on first down to about the 13-yard line. David Grant in at nose tackle for Crumry, and Jason Buck make the tackle.
Sort of an ominous feeling with this, because the Bears are really beginning to knock the Bengals around the line of scrimmage. The play previous, when Van Horn and Thayer pulled, they pulled clean around the corner, almost like it was a practice.
Second down and 6. The Bears deep in Cincinnati territory, with the Bengals up by a touchdown. Anderson doesn't quite get to the 10 this time, and that'll bring up a tough third down call. Carl Zander from Tennessee down low to trip him up.
He went right over the top, went under people, and saved the play, because everyone else was knocked out of there.
Now Tomczak looks to Ditka on the sidelines, and Ditka sends in Cap Bozo, number 86, a tight end, with the play.
And 3 from the 10.
This is where the Bengals were tough, denying Chicago twice from within the 1-yard line in the first half. They need 3 for a first down. It's Anderson, and the Bengals were there. The man who started the problems was David Grant. He infiltrated and forced Anderson wide, and then Dixon came up from the secondary to make the tackle.
The scout got underneath Van Horn that time for the first time all day.
And Ditka unhappily now will have to send in the field goal team. Get out there, he says. Get out there, I'll take 3.
Well, Dick, that was as much the play call as it was the blocking. They really had 3 or 4 people unblocked because they played right into that sweep.
30-yard attempt by Butler, and he hammers it through. They officially say 29 yards. Timeout. Bengals 14, the Bears 10. Anaheim to see the Rams in Indianapolis, and Eric Dickerson. The Rams are winning by 10 at Atlanta. New Orleans still shutting out Dallas, and Tampa Bay's lead against Green Bay 2 points. Detroit has taken the lead in the 4th quarter over the Cardinals, and the 49ers lead by 10 at Indy. Well, Dennis Gentry, 63-yard kickoff return, set up the field goal by Butler, and now with a score of 14-10, Bengals. It's Stanford Jennings at the 6. Returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns last year. Jennings, 1 in the Super Bowl, gets out to the 28-yard line.
Jennings really has nerve. He went right up into that middle at full stride.
That's Refrigerator Perry on special teams.
He's beginning to losing his stride. No, he's having his own problems here. Yo.
What did Dan Hampton call him? Mudslide.
Well, he's in there now.
14-10. Cincinnati, 3 minutes left, 3rd quarter. Nicky Woods. He slammed into that left side and drove Dante Jones right back with him. A gain of about 4, maybe 5.
Well, the touchdown run, Munoz did a great job on Dent. This last time, same thing. Before the game, surprising to me, Sam White said they want to run at Dent, not away from him. And they feel Munoz is the guy to do it. Of course, Munoz is an all-time potential Hall of Fame offensive tackle.
There he is, 8 consecutive years Pro Bowler. That's one under the record held by Mike Webster. Same side. And Woods gets extra yardage after the hit and may have picked up the first down with the second effort. Let's look at that matchup. Munoz against 95 Dent.
I think Dent moved outside that time. Munoz is reaching all of the way with Brooks leading right on Dent. Now here's Brooks. He's supposed to be over the hill, according to Mike Dickett. Look at the form. Up, turn, around. As a 185-pound man doing that to a former All-Pro.
And that's being generous, probably closer to 180, giving away maybe 70 pounds. And just that was a technique block, wasn't it? Right out of the book.
Beautiful shot. Beautiful.
Let's go back to the touchdown when Brooks scored and Dent against Munoz.
Here's Dent. Munoz will block and release, and Dent will get caught up, not able to come off the block quickly enough. Dent's inside. Munoz is off on a linebacker. So Munoz actually did the textbook block. He took Dent, dropped him, and cut off the linebacker.
And then got Singletary. That's a pretty good parlay.
Beautiful.
It was a first down by inches. Brooks. Got a pretty good lick on the sidelines. Montoya, who just signed this week, the veteran guard, was a man pulling and leading the way. Max Montoya. He played at UCLA when his teammate Munoz was across town at Southern California. They become obviously close friends that really didn't know each other while growing up in the vast regions of Los Angeles. Now all pro teammates. Eric Ball now in at fullback.
At the line of scrimmage. Audible.
This is Ball. And the man who led the rushers for Cincinnati in the preseason gets about 3. Steve McMichael, the tackler. Boy, this is... Can't wait to get back and see some of these ourselves, Bill. Seattle, Washington. How about Houston, Minnesota? 2 teams that figure to be in the playoffs. A struggling Miami against Buffalo, New England, the Jets, Kansas City, Denver. Chargers with McMahon and the Raiders. Cleveland, Pittsburgh, always a great battle. Those are your regional games, so stay with us on NBC for the second half of a big opening day doubleheader.
Well, you know, the Bengals have to condition their athletes on how to negotiate. Is they're quite willing to allow the guy to set out.
3rd down and 3, and Jennings runs into his quarterback, and Esiason going to run it, gets another block and steps out of bounds right in front of Ditka with a first down at the Bear 48. Mike Martin, the wide receiver, number 88, really helped out his quarterback.
He really turned back in. I have to say that Richard Dent's lost something. He doesn't have the movement. Of course, that ankle, but he isn't so active now that he gets up the field and disrupts things.
Number 95 negated by Munoz, who took on 2 men again. Oh my, Montoya out there waiting for him.
Well, Munoz is handling Dent and then releasing on linebackers. That wouldn't have happened in 1985.
Dickie Woods inside the Bear 45 as they test the center of that Chicago defense. And your comments were prophetic at the start of the game, Bill Walsh. You said that Whites would try to run. It wouldn't work against the Bears defense, but might well work in the second half. And that is what seems to be developing as the final seconds of the 3rd quarter tick away.
Well, the Bears have lot of elder statesmen playing in that defensive line. Refrigerator is 25 to 30 pounds heavier than he was in '85. They're tiring. We knew they would. The Bengals are now feeling it, sensing it, and taking them on.
And there's the gun, the end of 3 quarters at Soldier Field, where the visiting Bengals, slight underdogs, lead Chicago 14-10. Walsh at Soldier Field, Chicago. We go to the 4th quarter. The Bears trail by 4. There's one of their #1 picks. The Bears have drafted brilliantly. In fact, as testimony, their last 15 first-round draft picks are still in the NFL, and 13 are starting. Unfortunately for Chicago, 5 of those are starting for other teams.
That's right. The newest, latest drafts are good ones. Good players. But in '85, they had great players. That's the difference.
Gets very little to the 44. Of those other Bear first-round picks that were here in the Super Bowl year, starting elsewhere, Jim McMahon, Willie Gault, Otis Wilson, Wilbur Marshall, and Al Harris. So that's been part of the change in personnel here, and Mike Ditka basically got rid of the guys he said were a pain in the backside.
Well, this isn't the '85 team, having had to play against that team.
3rd down. Esiason to Brooks. What a throw!
What a
it's a
shot.
first down at the 35-yard line. That was a dart from Norman Julius Esiason.
What a shot. He had a blitz right up the middle. Singletary is going to take right up the middle. He's going to get cut off. But watch Boomer. He sits there, feels it. Here's Hampton all the way around on a stunt. But look at that ball carry right into Brooks. That's a beautiful shot.
And in fact, he caught it finally, got control around his thighs before he really wrapped it up. But it was a terrific throw on 3rd down.
Well, we had Duerson on Brooks. Eddie Brown's not here. Brooks is going to have to make the big plays, the skill plays.
Stanford Jennings knocked out of bounds just shy of the 30. Coming over to make the hit was Vesti Jackson. Boy, you're going to give an award for a man who's taken on more hits than anyone in this game. How about Vesti Jackson? We've heard his tackles all day.
Well, Vesti was left all alone on the perimeter because Dent and Donnie Jones were knocked out of there. It's that simple.
Jackson, who played his college ball at the University of Washington, like Ickey Woods, grew up in Fresno, California. On 2nd and 5, wide open, the tight end Caddis, and he has a first down at the Bear 24 as they pick up another 6 or 7.
How many times can you use the same thing? And what's happening is Dent is not making things happen. Meanwhile, we're getting counter action to the outside, and we're getting our tight end hitting and releasing, coming out wide open. There he is. There's Dent coming off slowly. Big hole in the defense.
Dante Jones made the tackle, but it's another Cincinnati first down. The Bengals with an impressive drive to take the lead in the 3rd quarter, 14-7, and they relentlessly are looking for more early in the 4th. Ooh, Woods stacked up in the center. Trace Armstrong and Dan Hampton make the stop. There's Armstrong, who played 3 years at Arizona State, was a sophomore on that Rose Bowl team, and then finished his career at the University of Florida.
Well, it's going to be up to James Brooks to make something happen here.
Well, Brooks lines up in the eye, and they wing Woods. Esiason now changing the formation.
This is a blitz.
And the quick toss is a bad toss, and Brooks can't get it. Yes, he did. He stole it away. Bill Perry, the fridge was there, and Brooks, with all that 340 pounds of mountain coming down on him, and that was a mudslide. Was able to scrape it in and save the ball for Cincinnati.
Well, we had a blitz right up the middle, and Boomer had to pitch it a little differently than normal down his throat. Now, this is a super effort by Brooks.
How did he ever win that?
How did he ever get that back?
That was 160 pounds he gave away. He was trying to knock it out of bounds. He saved it, but now 3rd and 12. In the grass, play is whistled dead. A sack for Hampton.
Well, Dan Hampton didn't get many sacks, or any really, maybe one in preseason. And he's been asked, why no sacks? He says, well, for $500 a sack, which is what they make in preseason games, I give you a $500 effort. Once league play starts, he makes big money and he makes big plays.
And he has played an all-pro opener here for Chicago. Oh, there's nothing wrong with those knees. Well traveled. He said it's just bone on bone now. McMichael, he said, he's had 5 knee operations. He's working on a full house. He says, I got a double straight 4 and 4.
Yeah, they tease each other about it. It's a little scary, really, because you know that as years pass, those can be a problem.
The Bengals, with Lee Johnson in to punt out of field goal range, apparently, have called a timeout.
Well, that's sack. A quarterback in that position on the field in field goal range can't take a sack. And Boomer kept looking for his options, waited too long. Just get rid of the ball and go for the field goal.
Yeah, they didn't take a timeout. They just took the penalty, the 5 yards. That doesn't matter. They're punting anyway. Dave Dorison is back at the 10 this time. And Johnson will just try to pooch it in. Ooh, bad snap. And a good kick at the 5-yard line. And we'll return to Soldier Field in Chicago after these messages from your local station. Look at the scores as we return the 4th quarter here in Chicago. New Orleans apparently on its way to an impressive shutout win. The Rams, that big line, open up holes for the running backs. Bell has just scored, and the Rams lead 31-14. Tampa Bay by 2 against Green Bay. Phoenix and Detroit tied at 13 in San Francisco. Mike Cofer has kicked his 3rd field goal to extend their lead at Indianapolis. The Bears trailing by 4, 14-10 here in Chicago with 11.5 minutes remaining in the game. Have the ball at their own 5 after the punt by Johnson. Tomczak over the middle and incomplete at the 20-yard line. Boy, what a pass. There were 4 white jerseys within 3-4 yards of Ron Morris.
Well, that pass is normally caught right at 8 to 12 yards. Mike held the ball a little longer than he should have. It was about a 15 to 20-yard pass, which means the corners reacted to it. The safeties came coming over to it. There's a heck of a log jam or a traffic jam, an intersection right there where that ball comes down.
Now here's a situation, 4th quarter, down by 4, where Ditka has to hope his new quarterback Tomczak can rally and win it for him. From his own end zone, he throws complete. Cap Bozo, the tight end, is close to a first down out at the 15-yard line. David Fulcher, who is, that name hasn't been called very often. The Pro Bowl safety. They've done a good job of staying away from the biggest safety in the league, Fulcher.
You're right. There hasn't been many calls, have there? I thought going into this game he would be a major factor. Now maybe he's been one and we haven't noticed, but his name hasn't been called.
234 pounds, Fulcher.
He's a linebacker playing safety. He's got that movement that puts him just barely in the safety category. Big hitter, but not too much today.
This is 3rd and 1. Thomas Sanders gets the first down for Chicago. Out to the 19, Kevin Walker.
Fulcher made a hit there.
And Fulcher as well.
Fulcher on the tight end, hammering the tight end Thornton. Pretty good control all the way. Now he can play a linebacker spot. Here's a safety playing over a tight end. Then he's right into the middle of it.
He's a Lawrence Taylor of the Bengals, Fulcher, and played brilliantly against you in the Super Bowl.
They're really their impact player, along with Crumry. Those two players are their dominant players.
And they're young, most of them. Crumry's the old guy, and he's only 29. You take him out of the lineup, put Grant in, the oldest man in the starting defense for Cincinnati is 26 years old. Incomplete, unable to hold the ball was Bozo on the low throw. Tomczak not happy with that. And look at Mike saying, hey, throw the ball up there.
Coverage, Sander and Kelly.
Again, the pass protection is fine. It's solid. A lot of clearance to throw a football.
Well, that ball was high enough.
Well, he should have caught it, but Mike had plenty of time to get that ball at least up into the numbers. He wasn't the primary receiver. Mike wanted to throw outside, came to that late.
Second down and 10. 10 minutes left, fourth quarter. Bears trail 14-10.
Play pass.
Tomczak going long. Dennis McKinnon down the sidelines. And the coverage by Eric Thomas, who stayed right with him.
Right, stride for stride. Stride for stride down the field. Now that's excellent corner play. He's in excellent position all the way. Now he's got the speed to do it. Reaches right up over the top. Classic play.
Well, with Billups and Thomas, that gives Sam White's defensively what the Cleveland Browns have had in the past years. Cornermen who can play man, and that frees up others to blitz.
Right. Gives you all the options defensively.
This is a big call for the Bears. 3rd and 10 at their own 18. 6 defensive backs for the Bengals. Tomczak. That's a great throw and a first down to Gentry at the 38-yard line.
Did that make a difference? Because they had Tomczak all the way. Now Gentry's just pushing well up the field. He's going to break sharply to the inside. And the ball's thrown high. He's clear. It's been a zone defense. So he's got all the kind of time he wants to go up and get that ball. Fulcher was playing deep, didn't get there, but really that play was Tomczak's. Super
21.
movement, super concentration.
21 yards, first down. Sanders. A yard at best as David Fulcher suddenly coming to life here in the fourth quarter.
He went to that one.
Interesting young guy is Fulcher, as you see Sam White on the sidelines. Fulcher and his wife have adopted this past year in February his niece and nephew by marriage. So here's a man 25 years old who has a daughter 13, the son 11. He said, talk about going through a learning process. Am I ever?
That's tough enough at any age.
I bet they behave.
Here he's blitzing now.
2nd and 9. The tight end, Thornton. As the tight end Thornton takes it all the way to the Bengal 31.
Well thrown. Now we had a strong safety blitz. Line stand up the middle. Fulcher's blocked on the bottom of the screen. Now that's a pro catch. Now Thornton is a great blocker, and there he demonstrated his abilities as a receiver.
Lewis Phillips in that tangle fairly injured himself. But what a open door for Tomczak to throw to. He didn't have anyone within 10 yards of him.
Right at the end of the play, Phillips down underneath the play. Can't see how it happened.
Listen to the heartbeat of America.
Throwing lane for Tomczak. All that clearance to throw the ball to a crossing receiver. You can't help but throw a nice, smooth, accurate ball.
That's Thayer on the right side and Bortz on the left. There's a reverse to Gentry. And
And he's hit at the 29, a gain of a couple. It didn't fool the Bengals. Carl Zander and Jason Buck collaborated, and Fulcher was there as well.
Well, we knew a reverse would come sooner or later from one of the teams. They were due. With all the pursuit that's been going on, you'd think you'd have a shot at it. This is a good spot on the field to do it. Now watch Tom Zach's block right there.
Did you ever use this play with Jerry Rice?
Every time we could.
Didn't you open the Super Bowl with that play, didn't you?
We've opened the Super Bowl. We've tried it every which way.
Second down, 8.
Draw.
And Anderson inside the 25 will be about 3 yards shy of the first down. David Grant, nose tackle from West Virginia, who played superbly after Crumrye's injury in the Super Bowl.
Well, you'd have to say, Dick, we're getting down to key plays. This is a big one. Because the Bears most likely will have to go for a field goal with 6:32 left.
Yeah, but what's the score?
The score right now, Dick, if you'll check, is 14 Bengals, 10 Bears.
Hey, look
You'll
at
never let me forget.
Look how you catch on.
Nice block.
This is Thomas Sanders, and they're going to mark that right at the 22-yard line, which may be a little short. Joe Kelly and Kevin Walker spearheaded the defensive charge.
What a call coming up.
Well, first the measurement.
Doesn't look like he got it.
Well, now as they measure, this always gives you time. As a coach, you've got to be thinking, well, do you go for it here or not? They stopped us down on the goal line.
He'd go over the top with Anderson. This I formation right up over the top of everything.
Remember, Anderson was hit in midair on the goal line and stopped.
Well, last week against LA, he dove about 8 feet in the air and got his touchdown.
6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. A critical 4th and 1 for Mike Ditka. Actually, it's about 1.5 feet. And he goes for it at the Cincinnati 21. Anderson is not in there. It's Muster and Sanders. And the quarterback sneak is good. Tom Zach, first down. For 70 years in the history of this great franchise, they've been cheering their Bears, brought here by George Halas. And this man was hired by Halas and carries on the legacy. Oh, how Halas picked the right man before he said goodbye.
He's Mr. Chicago. He is Chicago. He's Bear football.
Trying to drive to a go-ahead touchdown, the Bears, trailing 14-10. And they're putting more time back on the 45-second clock. And here Jerry Seaman's announcement. While we're waiting, let's check on the other action. There you see 5:15 remaining on the game clock. Atlanta cuts into the Rams' big lead. No other changes in those three. Phoenix, Detroit still tied in San Francisco. And their new head coach trying to win in Indianapolis. That'd be a good start for George Seifert.
Be a great start.
Tom Zach throwing for Morris. And Eric Thomas again worthy of that man coverage, and a tough play with a lot of field to cover. Thomas good enough to stay with Morris.
Coverage. Fine throw. That's a professional play all the way around. Look at this. Thomas recovery speed just gets through him, but of course Morris can't see it. Now right up the middle you get the full blitz. Here it comes. Xander's right up the middle, and it was just great poise by Tomczak.
Thomas down in the end zone after making that play.
They'll need him.
Might be just a cramp the way he's acting. That's a timeout with 4:59 to go.
I like quiet little.
James Thornton, touchdown. Thornton did not catch a touchdown pass last year as a rookie. He seemingly has been open all day against the Cincinnati defense, and Mike Ditka gets him the ball and the lead for Chicago for the first time today. The extra point by Butler. And with 4 minutes and 54 seconds remaining, Chicago moves in front.
Well, again, we're going to get a safety blitz. Tight end straight up the middle. That's twice now that Fulcher's blitzed, and they've been able to hit the tight end up the field. Zone defense, well, nobody even looked at the tight end. But they're trying to get Fulcher into the play.
Celebration that Jim McMahon would be proud of.
I like catching a ride.
Lead for the first time, just under 5 minutes to go as Butler kicks it off. Stanford Jennings at the 3. And a fine effort by Jennings, who almost had worked his way through the entire Bear defense. 26-yard line, the tackle. Here's Tomczak after that touchdown throw. Completing a 95-yard drive in 14 plays. Tomczak, the new man on Main Street, Michigan Avenue in Chicago.
Well, he deserves it. He's had to take on a lot of ridicule and question and criticism.
Now it's the Bengals down by 3, and Esiason out to the 29, a gain of only 3.
Well, Dent cut that one off.
Now Sam Weiss led 7-0. Bears tied it in the final seconds of the first half. Cincinnati went ahead 14-7. Then the kickoff return by Gentry set up the field goal 14-10 at the end of 3. And now in the fourth quarter, a very impressive drive by Tomczak and the lead.
Brooks is going to have to make a play.
Here's Ickey Woods. Oh, what a hit as Woods out to the 33. That'll bring up 3rd down and a long 3.
Look for Brooks again.
Sam Weiss sends in 4 wide receivers along with Brooks. And it's officially 3rd and 4. The crowd trying to make it tough. What a catch. Kendall Smith, the rookie, spearing one at the 46-yard line. A 14-yard gain.
What a catch. I thought sure he was going to go to Brooks. He never looked at it. Boomer really handled the pass rush that time because Dent got way up on the outside on him.
Well, Smith was a long shot out of Utah State to make this club, a 7th-round pick, but his record shows his worth. He broke all of Henry Ellard's records in that WAC conference, now the Big West Conference. Esiason to Brooks. Boy, he uses that sideline so effectively, does Brooks. It's like an extra blocker.
Brooks was really hit early in that play. He was really tagged, and by the time Esiason looked back over, Brooks was open again. Now, just remember, Johnson, the place kicker's got a great leg for the field goal.
Well, they'll go with Gallery for the shorter ones, as they did with Breach, but Johnson, if they get out when they need one beyond 50, he can deliver. He got him a 50-yard field goal last year against the Redskins. But that's Gallery warming up.
Oh, is it?
They'll measure on the near sidelines. The clock now 2:39. So the Bengals battling the Bears and that electronic monster. There's Gallery, who grew up in southern Minnesota. First down. Played 9-man football, Gallery did. He was a defensive back recruited by the University of Minnesota. Heard of 8-man, but they were a big enough school, he said they played 9-man.
Over 9. Somebody transferred in.
Beat out Jim Breach for the job. The line of scrimmage, the Bear 43. First down. Chicago 17, Cincinnati 14. Dante Jones nails Brooks for a loss.
Well, Dent has come alive. The Bengals have been taking the edges of the defense all day. And right now, you're getting Bent up the field to the outside. He's standing up. You'll see him. The ball snap. He's unblocked now. Mickey Woods failed to block him. That's what happened.
2nd and 13. Knocked down by Hampton. That's the 3rd time he's knocked down a pass or a field goal today. Remember, Hampton blocked Gallery's field goal back in the first quarter. That might mean a tie at the moment. 2-minute timeout.
Listen to the heartbeat.
44-year-old Sam White, who took a team that won only 4 games 2 years ago to the Super Bowl last year, faces 3rd and 13 at the Bear 46. What do you
He'll
call
go
here?
for part of it each time. He's not going to necessarily try to get it all in one play. He's got 2 plays to get 13 yards. Brooks has got to be a factor.
Esiason with all the noise. George Singletary picked up on the blitz. Esiason to Brooks, incomplete. Cincinnati has all 3 timeouts, so there is a temptation to punt. Apparently not. They'll go for it on 4th and 13.
This is the ball game.
Speaking of ball games, 3 quick finals. Phoenix has beaten Detroit 16-13. The Rams have defeated Atlanta 31-21, and Tampa Bay over Green Bay 23-21. Finals. Esiason down the middle, incomplete. Tim McGee was the closest Bengal. The Bears take over on downs.
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it with Son of a Gun from STP. Shoot the dash, seats, tires, and roof. Son of a Gun protecting. Man, what a difference.
When the Bass Angler Sportsman Society went fishing for an official truck, they reeled in a Chevy Astro. Rumor has it they were hooked on our superior towing power. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. Here's another Chevy that really hauls on the track. Chevy Truck, the official truck of NASCAR. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
American Airlines to Europe, with service to 13 wonderful cities.
What we've got is a blitz by Duerson on the inside with the center moving to the outside, Jaton, to try to pick him up. So as the ball snapped, here comes Duerson. Jaton almost gets there, just takes the edge of him, but that throws Boomer off. He can't throw an accurate ball.
And the Bears have the ball at the 47-yard line, and that's typical Bear defense. What's that record? They've got some incredible string. When they hold the opposition under 17 or under, they've won 64 in a row, and they're leading 17-14 at the moment. Now, on the Cincinnati side, they have all 3 timeouts. No, wait, didn't they spend one earlier in this half, as I recall? No, they did not. They have all 3 timeouts left. So it's up to Boomer Esiason to cheer for the defense, hoping they can use the 3 timeouts, stop the Bears without a first down, and get the ball for a possible at least field goal. That's Sam White's thoughts. Anderson. For the Cincinnati 47, a big gain of almost 7 yards.
Well, that's where Brad Muster comes in, that big 250-pound blocker. And Neal, with all his instincts, knowing when to hold on to the ball, when to go for the yardage.
Timeout, 2 left for Cincinnati, but that was a big gain for Chicago.
Well, again, it was Covert punching out on Buck, knocking him off the line of scrimmage.
Brad Muster, 25.
Doing a great job on Walker, cutting him down, and we got 8 yards out of it.
Finals in now. New Orleans about to beat Dallas, up 28-0. The Rams have won. Tampa Bay by 2, a winner. Phoenix on a late field goal has beaten Detroit, and San Francisco seems to have an insurmountable lead late at Indianapolis.
That was a big win for San Francisco if they hold on, because playing in Indianapolis against a hot Indianapolis team with Dickerson, I think it demonstrates the character of the San Francisco 49ers.
Meanwhile, Neal Anderson has 140 yards rushing. That's his best as a pro. One better than his game last year against the Packers. Here he is again. First down. There's the player of the game, Neal Anderson. Sam White's and the Bengals could not stop Anderson.
He just took people with him. Great job by Covert. Nice block right here by Muster. But watch Anderson at the end of the play. Right down through people, just splitting people.
You had a chance to enjoy that with the Tom Rathmans and Roger Craig of your former world.
Well, these guys are comparable.
It's time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. No surprise there. Mr. Neal Anderson of the Chicago Bears. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected throughout the NFL today. And what Anderson did was not the yardage. He just burned up 2 timeouts for Cincinnati. They have 1 left and only 1:29 showing on the clock.
A great start for Anderson and the Bears. They just beat the AFC champs if it holds on.
But not without a struggle, and the Bears, had they not won today, and they haven't as yet, but they had lost, of course, to you 28-3 in the NFC Championship game. They lost their 2 home preseason games to McMahon at New Charger, the Chargers, and to Kansas City, and they flirted with it today. The 95-yard drive by Tom Zach will be one to remember. Muster fumbles, and the Bengals recover. Oh my!
Muster was going through the motions on that play. He was running out the clock. You can see the way he was running the ball. He just lumbered through the line casually. Now just watch the casual movement. Just striding through, and he loses the ball. No one hits him.
Fulcher and Wilcox were close. That was unbelievable. With the Bears in a situation where they almost could have gone to one knee the rest of the way. 1 timeout left.
It was over.
So with 1:23 to left, and the Bengals still with a timeout. McGee almost intercepted. Sean Gale had it right in his arms as the ball over the top of McGee's reach. You see that big shoulder harness for Gale. It's amazing he's even playing. He fractured a neck vertebra last year against Detroit.
Good pass protection. Now again, Hampton was a factor. You see, just at that point, he jumped and he took an effect on the vision for Boomer. He threw a high ball, but McGee was open. They'll come back to it.
Knocked down at the line of scrimmage again. Was that Hampton again? Steve McMichael, 76, Hampton's partner in the backfield.
We'll take a look at 76 and 99. Push up the field, and they time the jump. It's right there. Now, what is happening in that case is that there's too much push being afforded by Kozerski or Montoya.
3rd down and 10.
Dorson blitzing again.
To the sidelines, Mike Martin. Ooh, is he crushed out of bounds. 1st down, however, as Mike Singletary made the defensive play.
Complete. 4th out of bounds. The 45.
Well, Dorson came again right here, blitzing up inside. This time they picked him up effectively. Boomer had his chance. Right there's Brooks doing a beautiful job of picking him up.
Well, you can see why James Brooks gets Pro Bowl votes. He can run with it, he can catch it, and he can block like maybe no other 180-pounder in the league.
That's right.
Well, it's close enough, apparently, that they're going to measure. The yardsticks on this side are not official. It was beyond those, but here are the official sticks. And that leaves the Bengals short. So it's 4th and 1.
The problem is they can make the first most likely, but it's going to take time to get it done. A running play.
1:08 left in the game. Now Sam White has 1 timeout left. The Muster fumble has given the Bengals renewed hope.
So if he runs for it, he's got to get right back to the line of scrimmage and get a pass off. Immediately he'll run out of time.
Hampton lined right up, trying to stop a quarterback sneak, if that's the call. It's Ickey Woods, and he's to the Bears' 48. You see the clock running, and the Bengals.
They've got to get the ball in play right now.
Well, here's where that hurry up the attack offense of theirs really helps them. They're playing 2-minute football most of the game. 50 seconds. And that'll stop the clock with 45. Coming up next, the second half of our doubleheader, and we hope there's as much exciting drama in the first game as we've had here in Chicago. And there's our lineup, and so many interesting, especially interconference games on this opening Sunday. So stay with us. Game 2 in your region coming up. It's 17-14 Chicago. 45 seconds left as the new place kicker of the Bengals hopes he gets a chance. 2nd and 10. Incomplete as Esiason rifling that ball through the secondary. Not close. And Roper, the rookie, John Roper from Texas A&M, number 55, applying the heat.
Well, he replied it. He came flying up that field.
There's Roper. They called him Ravage Roper down Aggie country, wearing Otis Wilson's old number 55.
He'll be there again this time, too, and Blados has got to take him on. Blados is a big 300-pounder, not real quick, probably a little fatigued, and he's got that burner right outside of him that's going to come up the field.
Esiason, incomplete. They're calling, theirs are saying fumble, but it's not a fumble. The ball was down. It was hidden from view from most of the fans and players who thought it was a fumble, but not. Ira Hillary was the receiver. And the 4 fingers more meaningful than the signal he's sending in. This is 4th down and maybe the last chance for the Bengals. You got to get 10 yards or more. 35 seconds to go.
The last chance for Brad Muster, too, I'll tell you.
You think Muster isn't rooting for that defense?
But now they really miss Eddie Brown. This is when you'd really miss him throughout this fourth quarter.
Of instant replay, the play stands, fourth down.
Well, for some reason, they looked at that on instant replay. It was never even close to a completion. Can you read those signals by White?
They looked a little quicker and a little more desperate than they did earlier.
Second chance. Sam Weich's Bengals unable to come up with a big play against that tough Bear defense. And now Chicago, you can bet, as Mike Ditka talked to Tom Zach and Anderson, he's not going to give anyone any chances to fumble again. As we wait for the second half of our doubleheader and this game to finish, there the other scores. Still not a final in New Orleans. Rams winners. Buccaneers start with a win. So does Phoenix and San Francisco's lead is cut to 6. Ricky Dixon was a big factor for Cincinnati. His 2 interceptions led to the 2 Cincinnati touchdowns.
There's a grand player there. What an effort.
Brooks.
What an effort. But he's really turning out to be all they've got without Brown being with them. He's all they have right now.
It's hard to believe that one-man speed, Eddie Brown, as Cincinnati has spent their final time on, that one-man speed makes everyone that much better?
Well, it's just like Jerry Rice being out of the 49er lineup. There are a lot of other people to replace him and that play well. But Brown makes the big play. He attracts the defense. He's got the speed to take people deep. Now you add Brown with Brooks, now you're starting to talk about a highly skilled team that can move the ball.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, Cincinnati Bengals and Chicago Bears, all rights reserved. Well, Mike Ditka will have something to talk about in his victory post-game conference. He has a win, but boy, he had to be unhappy with what he saw when Brad Muster left the ball on the ground. And Sam Weich's Bengals came into Chicago and played the tough Bears well.
They played them well. They have a future this year. They're the champions. They played like champions. They missed Brown. They weren't in sync as they normally are, but very soon now they'll be the power of the AFC.
The Bengals, 14. Thank you.
Final seconds tick away here in Chicago. And the final gun. Stay tuned for the second half of the NBC football doubleheader. Most of you will be seeing the Oilers and the Vikings, plus other fine regional action. So for Bill Walsh, this is Dick Enberg at Soldier Field, where the Bears have managed a 17-14 victory.